I remember when I got my first keyboard workstation. It was the Yamaha MO8, and it was probably my first big purchase after college. I was so excited. I spent hours learning the ins and outs of that thing, really pushing the limits of what it could do. I had a DAW back then, but I always wanted something I could just turn on and create with, in case if my computer were to ever go down. And honestly, that philosophy still sticks with me to this day. Something that is always ready. Something that doesn't rely on a computer to work. So when it was time to upgrade from the MO8, that was at the front of my mind. I started looking at all the usual suspects, the Montage, the Phantom, the Kronos. But they didn't really check all the boxes. I wanted something flexible, something customizable. And sometimes, when things can't check all the boxes, maybe it's time to reconsider the box.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Wadey of Dreamslab Productions, and this is my new workstation. I wanted to make this video because I feel like this type of configuration is low-key slept on for a workstation keyboard. And I feel like this could really help a lot of players out. So let's break it down. Now, as you saw, I'm coming from the Yamaha MO8. And when I was looking to upgrade, I was seriously considering boards like the Montage and the Roland Phantom O. So those are the ones I'm mostly going to compare this to, but I'm sure other boards fall into this category. Now for the setup I am using, I have an Arturia Keylab 88 Mach 2. It has 16 pads, 9 knobs and faders, aftertouch, and it is bus powered. But it is strictly a MIDI controller. There is no internal sequencing, there are no internal sounds. It just sends this key knob and pan parameters to something. And the brain of the operation is the MPC Live 3. It has the MPC pads, internal sounds, internal sequencing, built-in speaker. That is where everything kind of lives. So my Arturia is sending all of the notes and data and information from these things I'm interacting with to my MPC, and my MPC is taking that data and generating sounds or recording sequences. Now, before I even get into why I like this setup, let's talk about what's actually the same between this and something like my MO8 I had before, or a Phantom O or a Montage. Because at the end of the day, they all kind of do the same thing. They let you play sounds, layer and split parts, sequence ideas, and build your tracks. Effectively, you get 88 keys, sounds, built-in effects, sequencing, and sampling. So as far as those things go, those are all similar to what everything can do. The thing is, with my particular setup, it goes about doing those things very differently. Now let's talk about sounds, arguably the most important part of your keyboard of choice. A lot of people don't know just how many playable instruments are on the MPC itself, outside of your normal drums that you would think about. You have pianos, EPs, affected pianos, a dedicated organ plugin, dedicated synth plugins, and things of that nature. But enough talking, I'm going to play a couple patches and let it speak for itself. All right, now leave a comment down below if you knew already just how deep the MPC bag went as far as sounds go. Another cool thing on the MPC itself is, say, we'll go back to that piano sound I was messing with. You can, of course, set this to notes, and you can play on the pads, but you can also record in your own progressions, right? So you can play the progressions themselves on the pads while you play around on the keys. Which is cool, it's just another way to approach different things. And the Arturia has its own pads, and you can use those to key switch. It's kind of like how I set that up on more of the more advanced plugins and sample patches that I mess with. So it's just a versatile, a lot of options encompassing way to, approach your production, live play, etc. Another cool thing that surprised me about this setup is you don't really need more cables than a traditional workstation. Ultimately, you have power, sustain pedal, audio out, and MIDI or USB. That's really it. So it's not like you're dealing with some kind of crazy complicated rig. It's just split into two pieces instead of one. Now, one thing I did add though is I added a little stand for the MPC with adjustable angles, because it laying flat makes it a little hard to see unless you're standing while you play. So that I added. It actually improved the workflow, or not the workflow, but the ergonomics maybe a lot. So let's talk I/O, which is my biggest argument against the workstation here. With this particular setup that you see right here, I have 3 MIDI ins, 3 MIDI outs, 5 pedal inputs, 8 CV ports, 2 combo jacks with phantom power, a phono input, 6 1/4-inch outs, a 1/4-inch headphone jack, 2 USB-A ports, a USB-C port, and a built-in condenser microphone. Oh, and of course, my favorite part that I did mention before, built-in onboard speakers. All of that is absolutely wild when you think about all those capabilities that you have. Please show me a dedicated workstation that has all that going for it. And for the piece de resistance, it's portable. And not in a, it's not heavy kind of way. I mean, it is literally portable. The MPC itself is standalone, battery powered with onboard speakers. So if you want to take ideas on the go, you don't even need the full setup. All right. I can just grab my MPC. I can get a smaller MIDI controller and pretty much have a lot of the same capabilities that I have right here in this room. I can even work on something in my DAW, track it out on the whole 2424 via USB-C, and then take that somewhere to continue working on it. And that for workflow is just insane. Get your ideas on the go, and you can do it in reverse. You make your ideas on the go, bring it in, work on it more in the MPC, or track it out to your favorite DAW. Just let me see your favorite workstation do that. So with all that said, here's kind of where the differences come in between your traditional Phantom or Montage or, Kronos maybe. Everything is designed to work together, which is great for stability with that. But with this, I get more of an open system. I get dedicated plugins. I get third-party plugins. I can change the controllers. I can change the brain. Also, the MPC has built-in speakers, so I can just sit here and play live without needing headphones or a speaker situation. And the speakers are actually a pretty decent volume. Your sound design options are very deep. There's so many assignable parameters that you can control with things. And one of the big things for me, if something goes wrong, I'm not out of everything. Something goes wrong with my Arturia board, I can just replace the board. I don't then have to replace everything together. The trade-off to that is if something goes wrong that's fixable, you're calling 2 companies or relying a lot on your tech knowledge to figure that out yourself. You can't just make a call and then say, hey, here's what it is. But I think that's a good trade-off for all the versatility you get with this particular setup. So let's address the proverbial elephant, maybe. Some of you are thinking, why not just get an MPC key? And that's a fair question. The MPC key is probably Akai's approach to this very subject I'm making this video about. But for me, I actually prefer separating the controller and the brain, because now I can rather upgrade my MIDI controller, or I can upgrade my certain MPC that I want to use. I can swap controllers to a completely different configuration that meets my needs, better suited for a particular instance. I can increase the I/O with a USB interface, giving this 24, I believe, in and out, up to 32 in and out. So versatility over the MPC Key is kind of what I'm talking about. And me personally, I did not like the feel of the MPC Key keys. I need a weighted keyboard for how I like to play. And as of right now, you know, that's not a thing that Akai is interested in. Now, of course, Akai is Akai, and they do be releasing instruments, so I would not be surprised the day after I post this, they're like, welcome MPC Key 288, and all of this is null and void. But as of today, everything I said stands. So at the end of the day, it's not really about what workstation is overall better, because, you know, you do have pros and cons with everything, but it's more about which workstation is better for you. Because for me, this just makes more sense. I want to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me. If this video gave you some new ideas of what's possible out there, please leave a like or possibly subscribe as a thank you for being your keyboard tech plug. If you have a better solution that checks this many boxes, please let me know down in the comments on what I'm missing out on. Once again, my name is Wade of Dream Slab Productions. You have a good one, and remember, keep making music.